Hello everybody, this is Reaper here with Triumphal Gaming, and today we're doing a League of Legends guide on Garen, the Might of Demacia. And in this guide we're going to be going over his abilities, masteries, runes, and an item build, and at the end of the video I'm going to have some gameplay footage so you can see his abilities in action. Now Garen is a fighter and an offset tank. Really more so he is a tank. Even if you're being fed heavy, you're going to be building tanky because that's where he sits best, is up in the face of everybody. He is a melee fighter. He doesn't have any long range abilities, so everything is up in the face of the enemy champions, so that you're going to want to be building tanky so you can get in on those ADCs and not have to worry about being taken out immediately. So let's go ahead and get into his abilities. Alright, so in his abilities, let's start with his passive Perseverance. If Garen has not been struck by a damage or enemy abilities for the last 10 seconds, Garen regenerates 0.4% of his maximum health each second. Minion damage does not stop Perseverance. This is another sustainability. This is a tanky passive. This helps him stay in his lane longer, especially in the beginning of the game, where you'll regenerate health by staying away from the enemy champions' attacks or abilities. The minions their damage doesn't do anything to stop that. Decisive Strike is Q. Garen gains a burst of movement speed, breaking free of all slows affecting him, and his next attack strikes a vital area of his foe, dealing bonus damage and silencing them. This is going to be your first ability that you level up. You're only going to put one in it in the beginning though. This helps you get around the map. It helps you charge the enemy, initiate attacks, and it also helps you get away. Like it says, it removes all slows that are affecting them. So if you're trying to get away, they slow you down. You hit your Decisive Strike, your Q, and you can get away and a lot faster also. And it does a really good amount of damage. Courage, your W. Garen passively increases his armor and magic resist. He may also activate this ability to grant himself a shield that reduces incoming damage and crowd control durations for a short duration. This will be your third ability you level up, but it's going to be the last ability, of course, that you max out. This, if you're jumping into a heavy fight with a big team fight and they have a lot of CC, you can go ahead and hit this on the initiation once you're actually in the fight. That is, that way any crowd control effects on you will be reduced, and passively it does increase your armor and your magic resist. Judgment. This is going to be your first move that you max out. Garen performs a dance of death with his sword, dealing damage around him for the duration. And it actually lasts for quite a few seconds. You gain a little bit of speed. It doesn't really mention that, but it does a significant amount of damage, especially if you're right on their ass or they're just not moving out of the way and they're wanting to tango with you right there. In your initiation, you're going to use your Q. You're going to hit your Judgment, and you can hit your Courage at the same time if you want to. Generally, most of the time, you just save Courage for the big team fights. And then, when you get them low, you'll be using your ultimate, Demacian Justice. Your R. Garen calls upon the Might of Demacia to deal a finishing blow to an enemy champion that deals damage based upon how much health his target has missing. So the lower health they have, the more damage it's going to do. So of course this is a finishing blow. If they're down to a quarter of their health, or maybe a little bit more than that, you're going to be able to just annihilate them. This is a really, really awesome ultimate. So utilize it, use it best, don't waste it. If they're really low health, unless they're getting away, this doesn't have a very huge range on it either, so you have to utilize it. So remember, use your Q to get into the fight, use your Judgment, and then of course when they're whittling down, go ahead and throw your ultimate on them and you've finished them off. Alright, let's go ahead and get into his masteries. Alright, so in his masteries, you're going to be going tanky like I said in the beginning of the video. We have 21 in defense, 9 in offense, and his offense, that was one thing in the abilities I forgot to mention, was that his abilities do not use any kind of resource. No mana, no fury, nothing of that nature. It's strictly cooldown. So sorcery, max it out, give you a 5% cooldown reduction. It's going to help you spam those abilities. You got double-edged sword, brute force, and martial mastery in offense. Now on your defensive side, you're looking at block, unyielding, veteran scars, enchanted armor, juggernaut, hardiness, resistance, evasive, reinforced armor, swiftness, 2 in legendary guardian, and tenacious. Now it's set up more for the end game. You could put some points in recovery, but he already has his passive for his health regeneration. So that's not going to help you out in the end game. In the beginning of the game it might help you out a little bit. But you're reducing damage from area of magic area effects, and increasing your armor and resistance against critical strikes for the end game is going to help you out extremely in those big team fights, especially with the ADCs coming in and your high AP middle lane players. Let's go ahead and get into his runes. Alright, so in his runes, as you can see, it's really nothing fancy. His quintessences, a greater quintessence of attack damage. His marks, the greater mark of attack damage. The seals, the greater seal of armor. And then your glyphs, the greater glyph of magic resist. This is a general top lane, tanky, brute champion rune set. You can change it up a little bit if you want, but generally you're going to want the initial armor and the magic resist to help you out against those enemy champions, as a lot of y'all probably don't have a lot of rune pages, so you could get with the scaling magic resist, which will help you out in the end game. But if you're going against an AP player, you might not necessarily be able to, or have a rune page specifically set up to go against an AP player in your top lane. So this does good overall. And your quintessences, of course, you can change this out with some movement speed if you want to help out with his decisive strike and increasing the movement speed even more with that. And as you can see, the statistics right here. And let's go ahead and jump over into his item build. Alright, so with his starting items, we have the warding totem, the health pot, and 99% of the time I do go with the Doran shield to give you that increased health regen. And of course reduce some of the champion basic attack damage. If you want to, if you have a high AD poke you're going against in the top lane, you might go ahead and go with the cloth armor, but that's if you're going to be building it into something else specifically that you're wanting to do already. If the team has a lot of AD and not necessarily a very good AP champion that you're not worried about, most of the time you're going to be going with the Doran shield. On the boots, I went ahead and put this in here because you can play around with this. The Ionian boots of Lucidity plus 15% cooldown reduction. Now this takes away from your tankiness, but it does lower the cooldown reduction of your abilities, which is very important with Garen because his abilities use no mana, so you can use them as often as they come up. Now your tanky boots, your ninja tabby, if you're going to be needing a lot of armor for the end game. Majority of the time though, you might go ahead and take Mercury's treads for your magic resist and the passive of the tenacity, reducing the duration of CCs and stuff of that nature. Your core, most of the time, this is going to be your build, or my build, what I do generally anyways. The Sunfire Cape, giving you increased health and armor. Your Spirit Visage, the increased health magic resist, greatly increases your health regeneration, and it gives you another cooldown reduction. And it increases your self-healing and stuff of that nature. Your Warmog's armor, it greatly increases your health and restores 1% of maximum health every 5 seconds. The Black Cleaver, let's move this over a little bit more. The Black Cleaver, 200 it gives you increased health, attack damage, another cooldown reduction item, and it gives you armor penetration. And of course, when you're in the top lane, majority of your champions going against you, if they're smart, are going to be building armor to go against your champion, Garen. And so this is going to help you penetrate that armor even more. Your Randuin's Omen gives you increased health, greatly increases your armor, and when you're hit by basic champion attacks, it's going to reduce their attack speed by 10%. Also, as an active, you can reduce their movement speed by 35% for up to 2 seconds. Or for 2 seconds. Alright, now your situational items. If you're wanting to go a little more damage, you're building tanky, so you're going to have quite a bit of health. Your Atma's Impaler is going to give you some armor, so maybe it could replace your Sunfire Cape. It gives you the same amount of armor, but it doesn't give you any health. It increases your critical strike chance, and it grants bonus attack damage equal to 1.5% of your maximum health. So it can greatly increase your attack damage. Your Ravenous Hydra to give you that greatly increased attack damage, some more health regen, and some lifesteal, and it does a good AoE damage to help clear out minions, and in team fights it's going to help you out a lot. But those are situational items. Of course, if you're being fed and you're not really needing to go out full tank, you can switch on some of the offensive items. Now, in your armor and magic resist, if you're needing to go full armor, if the AP champion, enemy AP champion on their team isn't doing anything, or if they don't have one for some reason, then this might be another item you pick up instead of maybe the Spirit Visage. The Thorn Mail greatly increases your armor, and upon being hit by a basic attack, returns 30% of the incoming damage back to the attacker as magic damage. This is going to help you out a lot with the ADCs that have the really fast attack speed and greatly, have a really high attack damage. Now, if you're needing to go more magic resist, you might want to pick up a Banshee's Veil. Gives you increased health, gives you increased magic resist, and it also, as a passive, grants a spell shield that blocks the next enemy ability. That's any ability. The only problem with it, if it does have a decent cooldown on it, and in a team fight, if they know that you have the Banshee's Veil, they might just send a little, spell your way to knock that shield down, and then they're going to jump on you. Okay, so you do have to watch that. But it also grants 45 health regen when you do suffer some damage from enemy champions. And you also have the Locket of the Iron Solari. This is going to give you magic resist, it's going to give you increased health, and another cooldown reduction. Now what this does is its active grants a shield to nearby allies for 5 seconds that absorbs up to 50 plus 10 per level damage. And then the aura grants nearby allies magic resist and health regen per 5 seconds. So it's going to help out your whole team. And of course you're the tank, so you're going to be in the middle of everybody. So this might be something to pick up. So of course some of these items are situational. Your core, this is primarily what you're going to be sticking to most of the time. Of course you can go off the scale and you can do what you want with them, and these are some of the situational items that you can change out depending on how the game is going. So try some of it out, see what works best for you, and see what you have fun with. Let's go ahead and jump into the gameplay footage, and I'll see y'all at the end of the video. Alright guys, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this guide with Garen. Just remember that utilize his ultimate for the perfect moment and don't waste it. He is a very tanky, easily playable champion. He's very fun to play with, and he's really great in team fights. So He is a controlling top lane, I believe, depending on who you're going against, of course. He does have some counters, but have fun with him. See what you like. If you have any comments or any questions about what we discussed, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. If you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, because we have plenty of guides out right now, and we're going to have plenty more guides coming out in the near future. So I hope y'all enjoy the video, and we'll see y'all on the next one.